Firearms friends, we are back with yet another collectible genre in our October 4th through 6th Sporting Collector Firearms Auction. Of course, full day preview, October 3rd. Full day where you can come and handle guns like this. And in case you couldn't tell from the table in front of me, today's genre of collecting is Colts. They're blue chip of gun collecting. We can't say it enough. Colts and Winchesters, but Colts are the king. They have some more current high prices, but you don't have to pay the high prices to get an extremely collectible Colt, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Some easy ways you can wade into Colt collecting at a really good price point and still walk away with some great collectibles. We are not going to tackle this in chronological order whatsoever. We're just going to go my left to right. We're going to start with this Colt Single Action Army artillery model. I'd love to keep it short on this gun. My cameraman would love it if I kept it short on this gun, but I can't because it's too cool. This is one of 10 Colt Single Action Army artillery models shipped in 1884 to Winchester. Now, if you know what's going on between Colt and Winchester in 1884, you know it's an extremely fascinating time in American firearms. Likely, this is one of, well, it's a shipment of 10, according to factory letter, shipped to Winchester, that Winchester is likely testing against their Mason wood revolver. So they had Wetmore Wells, 1876, they're showing that to Colt, that's at the Centennial Exposition. Years later, after they've wooed Mason away from Colt, who had a hand in, the Peacemaker, the cartridge conversions that he did, he had a big hand in Colt. Well, now Colt woos him away. He's like a Colt superintendent, and here he is at Winchester, helping develop Winchester's revolver in 1884. This was likely one used to test against those. And of course, Winchester hiring away Mason from Colt forced Colt Firearms to hire one Mr. Burgess. And here we have a Colt Burgess rifle. Now, Burgess was an inventor. I think at the end of his life, he had like 894 patents. He's very significant. Of course, most people know the shotgun, the folding shotgun. He has a couple other lever actions, and Colt started developing a lever action. Of course, the Lightning as well around those times, which maybe forced Winchester to come visit with some of their own designs from Mason. So part of this story and the gentleman's agreement, and here's the other side of the story, and it's Colt's Burgess rifle. Supposedly is superior to the Winchester lever actions in a number of ways. Length, strength of the action, shorter toggleable, which of course helps the strength of the action, any number of things. And of course, you can identify them pretty easily. They have a sliding breech gate here, as opposed to the Winchester's King's Gate and the folding one, the sort of leaf spring. This is serial number 7. So not just the Colt Burgess that you can get your hands on, but serial number 7. And it has the Colt history, it has Colt Winchester history, it has Burgess history, and a rifle that almost was but wasn't quite, would have been a darn good contender against the Marlins of the time and of course the existing Winchesters. So there's 2 pieces of great Colt history already, and we still got 4 to go. How about next? Government model. You can tell, of course, we got our straight mainspring housing here, the extended trigger. This is 1917 production. Now, I wanted to show this because we had a comment online. Someone was looking, hey, where can I get a World War I production Colt 1911? Well, it's not a martially inspected 1911, but a 1917 government model, and to find one in our S&C sale, that's a pretty darn good opportunity. It's double diamond grips. You just gotta love it. A government model is a classic and an easy choice for any Colt collection. Next, here's one I'd put in my Colt collection. Now, I love Bisleys. I just love the look. The grips are beautiful. I love this sort of hammer. It's sort of like this, I don't want to say a lop-eared hammer, but it's just they're an attractive look, and they fit well in the hand. I find that this sort of curve back here fits the top of my hand better. They just hold right. Well, here you have a 1906 production Bisley. Stag grips, which I also love. So this might just be super biased, Joel's pick. 1906 production, silver plated. And someone's done a really good job of doing this over. We have all the niter blue pins, the trigger, ejector rod lever here, like all these things have been brightly niter blued. So if you need a barbecue gun for the end of this year or next summer, you'd be hard pressed to do better than this one. The engraving, even down the back strap, this is just an attractive Bisley. I picked it for a good reason. Next, so we move from an artillery model Colt single action army to a cavalry model Colt single action army. Not just any, of course we use cavalry as the 7.5-inch barrel. We do have, however, a US inspection mark over here, so not commercial version. It's earlier than we know. This is serial number 9843, so real early in Colt single action army production, considering they made, what, 357,800 and some in the first generation up until World War II. And if you know Colt single action armies, you know where I'm headed. 9800 means it's Ainsworth inspected. Orville Ainsworth, one of the inspectors, government inspectors at Colt, he inspected, I think, up through the first almost 15,000. There's thought to be less than 2,000 of those surviving today. Of course, a lot of those saw government use, hard use, and of course, a lot of them later on when they wanted to be kind of revamped were converted to artillery models. So here we have a 7.5-inch barrel, US marked, Orville Ainsworth Colt single action army. Ainsworths are pretty scarce. Last but not least on the table, here's a rare bird, and if you're looking to get into something a little earlier than our cartridge-based friends here, it's so much heavier than anything else I've picked up. It's just fantastic. This is a Colt Dragoon. It's a second model Dragoon. So the first Colt, Patterson failed. Then you have the Walker in 1847. 1848, he makes the Dragoon. It's got some improvements. It's shorter, lighter, still not saying much. We've got the latch here for the loading lever so it doesn't flop down, and you have the Walker slap that you would have on the earlier Colt Walkers. Really nice still on the cylinder. That's still quite a clear cylinder scene. Markings are crisp. This is second model, as I mentioned, and the second models are the rarest to find of the Colt Dragoons. This does have the second model combination of the square back and the rectangular cylinder stops here. Of course, earlier on, they were circular, so the first models have the circular cylinder stops like the Walkers do, so that's kind of easy to remember. Switch to rectangles, and then the third model have rectangular, but the round trigger guard. So first, second, third model, they're pretty easy to tell apart. Here's the second model. It still looks pretty darn good. And you'd have a rare second model in your collection. So that's a nice way to wrap it up. Oh, wait, we got one more. We can't talk about the early Colts without, of course, reminding you that we've got some pretty modern Colts too. And by modern Colts, I mean this is an early, it's a pre-band Colt SP1, and it has all the early features that you know and love. So it ain't just black powder Colts, it's not just cartridge Colts. There's some modern ones too. Colt snake guns, and of course ARs like this. Like I said, pre-band, SP1, all the early features. Carry handle gang unite, triangle handguard, bird cage, and of course this big empty side that we're used to seeing. So no fence, we've got no brass deflector, we've got no forward assist. It is just as plain as you please, but if you listen closely, you can hear CCR playing when you listen to the buttstock. So side benefit for owning an SP1 like this. Friends, Colt collectors, you can hold all these. Whether you like the Winchester story, whether you like the black powder story, whether you're into maybe some military history or the Vietnam era, it doesn't matter. The auction has something for you, but you gotta come here to see it. That's October 4th through the 6th, full day preview October 3rd. It is the best gun show you've never been to. It is thousands and thousands of guns, a full day where you get to touch, inspect, pick up anything in the auction, and even listen to a little CCR if you play your cards right. Stay tuned for our next genre video. You can look at all these, by the way, at rockislandauction.com, and till next time, keep your powder dry.